I can't breathe. It feels like the walls are closing in, like everything I've built is slipping right through my fingers. But it doesn't start with chaos. It never does. It starts in the quiet, in the small, almost invisible cracks that form when you're too busy convincing yourself everything's fine. My name's Natalie. I'm a wife, a mother of two, and for the longest time, I believe I have a good life. A warm home filled with laughter, two beautiful kids who bring me more joy than I can put into words, and a husband, Ethan, who's supposed to be my partner through it all. From the outside, we look picture perfect. And honestly, even from the inside, for a while, it feels real. But lately, something's wrong. Ethan's work trips are longer, and he's barely present when he's home. He walks through the door with hotel soap on his skin and a vague apology on his lips. His phone never leaves his side. The late-night texts, the quick swipes to hide the screen, the tension in his voice when I ask innocent questions. It's all piling up. He tells me I'm imagining things, that I'm too sensitive. But I know what I feel. I know what distance looks like when it starts creeping in between two people who used to be inseparable. The hardest part isn't the lies he tells me. It's the lies I tell myself to keep everything from falling apart. I tell myself he's tired, stressed, that I'm overthinking. I smile in front of the kids, pretend it's all okay. But inside, something's shifting. There's a heaviness in my chest I can't explain, a whisper I keep pushing away. But deep down, I know something's coming. And the truth is going to destroy everything. The distance between us isn't just emotional anymore, it's physical. Ethan doesn't even try to hide it. He walks through the door with this blank expression, like he's stepping into someone else's life. Not the one he helped build with me. Dinner time used to be sacred. We'd all sit at the table, share stories, laugh about the little things. Now, he eats in silence, eyes glued to his phone, barely acknowledging the kids when they tell him about their day. Aiden drew him a picture last week, something simple, a superhero with dad written across the chest. Ethan barely looked at it, just nodded and said, "That's cool, bud," before heading to the den and shutting the door behind him. I try to reach him. I ask if everything's okay, if work is too much, if we're okay. But every time I open that door, he slams it shut with something colder than silence. He tells me I'm the problem. "You're always so emotional lately," he says. "You overanalyze everything. Can't you just let things be?" At first, I question myself. Maybe I am being dramatic. Maybe I'm too sensitive. But then the conversations twist into something darker. He accuses me of suffocating him, of keeping tabs, of turning everything into a fight. But I'm not fighting. I'm pleading for honesty, for connection, for the man I married to just look at me and see me again. And then it happens. I'm doing the laundry, going through the pockets of his blazer before tossing it in the machine. Something crisp and folded falls out. A receipt. A hotel. Not one we've ever stayed at together. Not even in this city. It's dated last weekend. The same weekend he said he had an overnight meeting out of town. But what hits me harder than the hotel name or the date is the name on the reservation. It's not his. It's a woman's. For a moment, I just stand there in the laundry room, staring at the paper like it might vanish if I look hard enough. My hands are shaking. My heart is racing. And still, some part of me wants to believe there's an explanation. Some innocent reason this slip of paper exists. But I know better. And I know this is just the beginning. I don't sleep that night. The receipt keeps replaying in my head like a bad song, I can't turn off. The name, Sabrina D., is burned into my memory. It's unfamiliar, and yet it feels too real to ignore. I sit on the couch, scrolling through my phone in the dark while Ethan sleeps just a few feet away, completely at peace, like he has nothing to hide. My fingers hesitate over the search bar. I type the name in anyway. Sabrina D. A few profiles pop up. Most are locked. But then I see her, smiling in a perfectly filtered beach photo, drink in hand. That same hotel name tagged in the location. 2 days ago. Her caption? Much needed getaway. Nothing like stolen time. My stomach turns. I scroll further. More photos. More hints. I don't want to believe it, but the puzzle pieces are falling into place whether I want them to or not. One post has a wine glass set across from her own. Another shows the reflection of a man in her sunglasses. He's not facing the camera, but I know that silhouette. It's Ethan. I can feel my pulse in my ears. My hands tremble as I keep digging. She's younger, polished, the kind of woman who curates her life online to look perfect. And somewhere in that curated little fantasy is my husband. Every instinct in me wants to scream, to wake him up and throw the phone in his face. But I don't. Not yet. I wait. I need to be sure. I need him to say it. The next morning, I ask him, calmly, carefully, if there's anything he wants to tell me. He barely looks up from his coffee. Number why? I pull out the hotel receipt and place it gently on the table between us. I watch his eyes move to it, then to me. There's a pause, a flicker of something in his face, and then nothing, just a shrug. I was with someone, he says flatly, like he's talking about the weather. I didn't think you needed to know. No denial, no apology. That was the moment I realized he'd already left me. He just hadn't bothered to move out yet. He says it so casually, like he's announcing he's changing his gym membership. I'm leaving. For Sabrina. The words don't even feel real at first. My ears hear them, but my brain refuses to process them. I just stand there in the kitchen, gripping the edge of the counter to keep myself upright, like the ground might give out underneath me at any second. I can't breathe. My heart is pounding and my throat is so tight it hurts to speak. But somehow, I find the strength to whisper, "What about the kids, Ethan? What about Aiden and Lily? You're just going to walk away from your family?" For a moment, something flickers in his eyes. Guilt, maybe. Or annoyance. I can't tell anymore. He doesn't answer right away. He just sighs, runs a hand through his hair, and then he looks at me and says something I'll never forget. I'm not even sure Aiden is mine. It hits me like a punch to the chest. I actually take a step back, like I've been physically struck. I stare at him, waiting for him to take it back, to say he didn't mean it. But he doesn't. He just folds his arms, watching me, waiting for me to react like he's already made up his mind. And now he's just tying up loose ends. You're accusing me of cheating? I choke out. Me? He doesn't answer, just shrugs, like he wants to hurt me on the way out, to leave a scar deep enough that I'll never forget who walked away first. And maybe it works, at least for a moment. I break down, right there in front of him. I sob. I beg. I plead with him to think about our children, about the years we've spent building this life. I ask him how he could do this to us, to them. He says nothing. And just like that, something inside me breaks, but not in the way he wants. It's like a fire starts where the pain used to be. A slow, quiet flame building behind my ribs. Because now, I know what I have to do. He's taken everything from me. But this isn't over. Not yet. The house feels hollow after he leaves. His clothes are gone. His drawer in the bathroom empty. The kids ask where he is, And I lie. I say he's working late, that he's busy. I can't bring myself to let their little hearts shatter the way mine has. But even in the middle of the heartbreak, that one sentence keeps echoing in my mind. I'm not even sure Aiden is mine. It wasn't just cruel. It was calculated. A final jab meant to discredit me, to justify his betrayal. And the more I think about it, the more I realize I can't let that go. I won't give him the satisfaction of rewriting our story. Not when I know the truth. So I decide to get the proof. Quietly. Carefully. One morning while Aiden is brushing his teeth, I swipe his toothbrush. Later, when Ethan stops by to pick up some of his things, I offer him a glass of water, serving it with the kind of fake smile only a betrayed woman can pull off. When he's done, I keep the glass. His fingerprints, his DNA, all of it. He has no idea. I send the samples in for a paternity test. No lawyers, no drama. Just me, a quiet determination, and a promise to myself that I'll stand in the truth no matter what it says. And then I wait. And let me tell you, waiting for those results feels like a lifetime. Every day drags. I check the mailbox like it holds the key to my sanity. I start doubting myself, questioning everything, even though deep down, I know who Aiden belongs to. When the envelope finally arrives, I hold it for what feels like hours before I open it. My hands shake as I read the words. 99.99% probability of paternity. Ethan is Aiden's father. I laugh, quiet, bitter, and broken. But it's not joy, it's vindication, the kind that burns in your throat after being silenced for too long. He wanted to cast doubt. He wanted to break me. But now I have the truth. And it's time I revealed it. In my own way. I plan it carefully. Every detail, every word I'll say, every expression I won't let show. I invite Ethan and Sabrina to dinner. Just a calm, civil evening, I say. For the kids' sake. Sabrina's all too eager, like she's walking into a victory lap. Ethan sounds suspicious, but he agrees. They show up dressed for a performance. Sabrina's wearing something sleek, smugness practically radiating off her skin. She clings to Ethan's arm like a trophy, her eyes scanning the house she probably thought would be hers one day. Ethan looks tense, a little uncomfortable, but he's playing along, acting like he's still in control. We sit down to eat. The kids are with my sister for the night. This dinner isn't for them. It's for us. For me. I serve the food, smile politely, and make small talk. I let Sabrina comment on the furniture, let her sneer slip through the corners of her perfect little mouth. I let Ethan deflect, pretend like everything's fine. The tension is thick enough to cut, but I play my role to perfection. Then, once the plates are nearly cleared, I reach into the drawer beside me and pull out an envelope. I place it on the table, right between them. Ethan eyes it like it might explode. Sabrina raises an eyebrow. I look straight at him. You said you weren't sure Aiden was yours, I say softly, almost sweetly. I thought you might want some clarity. He doesn't move, just stares. So I open it for him. I slide the paper across the table until it's right in front of him. Black and white. Clinical. Undeniable. You are his father, Ethan. Silence. Sabrina's smile fades. Ethan's jaw clenches. He doesn't say a word. He doesn't have to. The truth is louder than anything he could come up with. I take a sip of wine, watching them both squirm. And then I lean back in my chair. Because I'm not done yet. I let the silence linger for a moment longer. Let the weight of that truth settle into the cracks between us. Then, calmly, like I'm commenting on the weather, I slide a second envelope across the table. This one's for you too, I say, locking eyes with Ethan. He hesitates before opening it. His fingers are slow, almost reluctant. I watch the color drain from his face as he reads the first few lines. Legal wording, custody filings, my attorney's letterhead. I've filed for full custody, I say. And before you argue, let me remind you. You abandoned your family, you questioned your own son's existence, and now you're living with a woman who thinks our pain is something to gloat over. He opens his mouth to speak, but I cut him off. Oh, and just so we're clear, the house? It's in my name. Always has been. I paid the down payment from my inheritance, remember? You signed off without reading the fine print. So don't bother packing a bag, Ethan. You're not staying here. The air is thick with shock. Ethan looks stunned. Sabrina, on the other hand, is seething. She stands abruptly, her chair scraping the floor. This is ridiculous, she snaps. You're acting like some wounded little victim. But I don't even look at her. This isn't about being a victim, I say quietly but firmly. It's about setting things right. She storms out without another word. The front door slams. The performance is over. Ethan's still at the table, alone now, exposed. He looks lost, small, nothing like the man who once held my heart. I don't feel satisfaction. Not really. Just peace. Later that week, I sit down with Aiden and Lily. I tell them the truth, just enough for their hearts to understand. I ask where they want to stay, and without hesitation, both of them cling to me. We want to stay with you, Mom. That moment breaks me in the best way. Because it's not about winning. It never was. It was about truth. It was about showing my children what strength looks like in the face of betrayal. And finally, it was about reclaiming my voice, after being silenced for far too long. The days after feel quieter. Not peaceful, not yet, but quieter in a way that makes space for healing. The house still echoes in certain corners, especially at night, when memories try to creep in. But slowly, that ache begins to change. It becomes manageable. I start therapy, something I never thought I'd need. At first, I sit there in silence, unsure of how to unpack years of trust, betrayal, and guilt. But week by week, I begin to unravel the knots. I cry. I yell. I laugh at moments that shouldn't be funny. But it helps. It really helps. Jasmine, my oldest friend, becomes my lifeline. She comes over on weekends, helps with the kids, brings wine and sarcasm in equal measure. Sometimes we sit on the porch and say nothing at all, just existing in the comfort of someone who never left. And then there's Aiden and Lily, my two anchors. I start to see them again. Really see them. The way Lily tucks her hair behind her ear when she's nervous. How Aiden hums to himself when he's drawing. I was so consumed by holding a broken marriage together that I missed those little things. Now, I hold on to them like treasure. Some nights I still get flashbacks. The good ones, which hurt in their own cruel way. Ethan's laughter in the kitchen. His arms around me in the hospital after Lily was born. The moment he whispered, "We're going to be okay." But then the other memories return too. The gaslighting, the lies, the hotel receipt. The way he looked me in the eye and questioned his own son's existence. I don't shove them away anymore. I let them pass through. Because they're all part of the same story. My story. A story of love, betrayal, and resilience. I may carry the scars, but they no longer define me. They remind me of what I survived. And more importantly, what I've begun. If you're listening to this and your heart feels like it's been torn in two, If you're staring at the ceiling at night, wondering how everything fell apart so fast, I want you to hear me. Really hear me. You're not alone. I know what it feels like to have the ground pulled out from under you, to question your worth, to wonder if maybe you were the problem all along, to cry in silence so your kids don't hear, to smile at work when your whole world is burning. But hear this. None of it defines you. You are not what they did to you. You are not the lies, or the betrayal, or the heartbreak. You are the strength that came after. You are the fire that kept going when everything told you to quit. You are the decision to choose healing, even when revenge felt easier. If you're in the middle of the storm right now, just trying to breathe, hold on. It won't always feel this heavy. The nights will get quieter. The mornings less painful. One day you'll laugh again and it won't feel forced. One day you'll look in the mirror and see someone you're proud of. One day you'll feel the sun again. I can't tell you when. I can't tell you how. But I can tell you this. You're going to survive. And not just survive. You'll rebuild something even stronger from the pieces. Because sometimes, when everything breaks, it gives you a chance to start over. Not as who you were before, but as the version of you who knows exactly what she's worth and refuses to settle for anything less. Thank you for spending your time with this story. If it spoke to you, even in a small way, I'd be honored to have you here. This channel is a space for real stories, raw emotions, and the strength we find in the aftermath of pain. Your support means more than you know. If you feel connected, please subscribe. Not just for me, but for every voice that needs to be heard.